Title: Disappearing Engine. The incredible story of Nationwide 723. The storm rolled in fast, thick black clouds swallowing the evening sky, as engineer Thomas Grady sat in the control cab of Nationwide 723, a towering freight train stretching nearly a mile long. The hum of the engine was steady, a comforting rhythm against the growing wind outside. They were carrying sensitive cargo, sealed crates with government markings, headed from Denver to a classified facility in Nevada. Security was tight. 2 armed guards rode in the third car, and the entire operation had been wrapped in secrecy. Thomas had run hundreds of routes, but something about this one felt off. The dispatcher crackled through the radio. Nationwide 723, you're cleared through Sector 7. Smooth sailing ahead. Thomas nodded, though no one could see. Beside him, his co-engineer, Lucas Meyer, absent-mindedly tapped a pen against a clipboard. But then static. The lights in the cab flickered. "Lucas, did you see?" Blackout. In the span of 3 seconds, the entire control panel went dark. The train lurched violently, but instead of slowing or derailing, there was nothing. Silence. When the lights returned moments later, Thomas gripped the controls, but his stomach dropped. The tracks ahead were gone. No city lights. No radio signal. No road crossings. Just an endless stretch of empty desert. And then, just as suddenly, the radio sputtered. "Nationwide 723, come in. Where the hell are you? Radar shows you're gone." But they weren't gone. They were right there. Emily Hart, a transportation investigator with a sharp mind and little patience for nonsense, sat in her Denver office, the rain streaking down the windows when the call came in. "A whole train vanished," she repeated, skeptical. "Off the grid," the dispatcher confirmed. "No signal. No debris. Just gone." Emily was known for solving tough cases, but this was different. Planes could vanish, trains didn't. She drove straight to the control center, where security footage played on loop. At 8:42 p.m., Nationwide 723 thundered through Sector 7. At 8:43, the cameras went static. When the feed returned seconds later, the tracks were empty. Emily leaned in. "Roll it back." The technician did. She noticed something, a faint shimmer in the air, almost like heat waves, right before the blackout. "Enhance that," she ordered. The image cleared just enough to reveal a strange, flickering light above the train moments before it vanished. "What the hell was that?" The dispatcher swallowed hard. "That's why we called you." Meanwhile, inside the missing train, Thomas Grady wrestled with the impossible. "Lucas, check the rear cars. See if the guards are still with us," he barked. Lucas hesitated. "Tom, look outside." Thomas did. The landscape had shifted. The desert was still there, but the sky was wrong. Darker, with streaks of deep purple clouds. The stars were off, as if they were seeing a different sky altogether. They weren't in Nevada. Lucas returned, pale. "The guards are gone. Cars 7 through 12? Empty." "What do you mean empty?" "Like they were never attached." Before they could process this, a low hum vibrated the metal beneath their feet. The train was moving, but not by Thomas's controls. It was being guided. Back in the real world, Emily's investigation deepened. She traced the cargo manifests, sealed files, encrypted documents, but the only thing clear was the involvement of a private defense contractor, Vanguard Systems. "They specialize in experimental tech," her contact whispered over the phone. "Magnetic fields, stealth applications, stuff they don't even brief the government about." "Could they make a train disappear?" Emily asked. A pause. "Theoretically, yes, but it would be insanely unstable." Emily followed the paper trail to a remote Vanguard facility outside Albuquerque. Under the pretense of a federal audit, she gained access and slipped into their underground control room. On a series of screens, her breath caught. Live satellite feeds showed Nationwide 723. Still moving. Holy hell! They're tracking it, she murmured. But where? Aboard the train, Thomas and Lucas realized the hum wasn't just mechanical, it was atmospheric. The air outside shimmered like liquid glass, and strange fissures of light danced in the sky. Thomas's radio crackled. "This is Emily Hart. If anyone can hear this, you are not where you think you are." Thomas lunged for the receiver. "We're here." "Emily, where is here?" "Static." "Then they moved you through a quantum rift, an experiment gone wrong. You're in a pocket dimension. If you don't break free before it collapses, you're gone for good." The train shuddered violently. The rift was closing. "Emily, how do we get out?" "There's an emergency override in the engine. Vanguard designed it as a failsafe. But it'll only work if you decouple the remaining cargo cars." The cargo, those sealed crates, had been causing the instability. But Lucas hesitated. "If we dump the cargo, we lose the only evidence of what they did." Thomas met his eyes. "If we don't, we lose our lives." With seconds to spare, Thomas and Lucas made their way to the rear cars, manually unlocking the couplers as the train bucked and groaned. The sky above split into jagged cracks of light, the air vibrating with raw energy. Lucas struggled with the final latch. "It's jammed." Thomas yanked him back, grabbing a crowbar, and with one massive heave, the coupling snapped. The cargo cars drifted away, swallowed by the shimmering void. Thomas sprinted back to the cab, slamming the override. A deafening roar filled the air. For a heartbeat, everything went white. And then, the train jolted violently, the sky snapping back to its familiar shade of dawn gray. The hum vanished. They were back, just outside a dusty rail yard in Nevada. Emily was already there, flanked by federal agents. As Thomas stepped off the engine, filthy and wide-eyed, she nodded. "You're a hell of an engineer." He chuckled weakly. "And you're one hell of an investigator." The government buried the incident, labeling it as equipment failure. But Emily leaked enough to spark conspiracy theories that would burn for decades. Vanguard systems? Dissolved overnight. But some said Nationwide 723 still occasionally disappeared from radar, just for a few seconds before returning, as if some part of it never truly came back. Months later, Emily received an unmarked package. Inside, a piece of twisted metal, scorched and humming faintly with energy. No note, but she understood. Some rifts never fully close.